Images like this make us to question why all of these people are trying to flee from Afghanistan and, mainly, the Talibans. How was it possible that Talibans come to power? And most importantly, which will be the consequences for the world? What powers will benefit from that? Which ones get hurt from this event? First of all, it's obvious that American defeat in this war will negatively influence on its reputation. If many decades ago, America could enjoy of its title as the indispensable nation, the current reality is the opposite scenario. Why? Let's begin talking about the 11s. As everyone knows, WTC towers were destroyed and thus began war on terror, seeking revenge on Osama bin Laden. But also from the precise moment began American downfall. Such downfall not only meant that America was steadily losing economic hegemony, mainly to China, but also its image was becoming more and more negative. The country that once was able to gather together more than half the world against one common enemy and brought progress wherever it was, now is perceived as a power that seeks to preserve its status from mere appearance. One proof of it, its failure in recent wars. America lost $2 trillion in Afghanistan war. Levels of American influence in Afghan regime never was huge. Trade exchange never went further than 18 and 21%. American investments in Afghanistan were only between $3 and $18 million. America didn't just underestimate Talibans, but also never allocate true financial support to Afghan regime. All the money was for war costs, so there was no incentive to maintain American presence there if it wasn't by military way. This kind of decisions allowed the rising of America's new rivals such as China. China has taken advantage of every American mistake in order to portray itself as an alternative trade partner. And it has worked. Now it's interested in fund Afghanistan reconstruction. Another country that benefits from American withdrawal is Iran, for it won't feel American pressure that was exercising from Afghanistan. Russia also receives benefits. It trusts in Taliban regime for stabilizing the country and keeping it neutral in order to avoid radicals to jeopardize the Eurasian Union existence. Pakistan also benefits because now it can focus all of its security issues on India. What could happen after this Afghanistan fiasco? That the nature of geopolitics chessboard will bring us new interesting scenarios. One of them is already acknowledged by the British newspaper The Guardian: the end of Pax Americana. America's allies are afraid that if they already were dragged to a seemingly eternal war in Afghanistan, the same would happen to them, but with China. Afghanistan showed European leaders they cannot longer trust in Washington. For them, whoever Biden's successor will be, America will continue doing the same thing. For the time being, it seems the first quarter of 21st century turned out to be an epoch where American power faded basically because of deadly miscalculations, easing the rising of other superpowers, being China the most obvious one. If that's the case, both COVID pandemic and Afghanistan defeat open the doors to the second quarter of 21st century, where American supremacy weakens even more.